That's the title of this video. So when people saw this title, they thought to themselves, oh, wow, this looks fairly interesting. And I was sent this video recently, and it made me want to do a video on it or talk about it on a live stream because it's, it's a live stream kind of content, to be honest with you. And she kind of goes in. She goes in on the gaming industry. She basically says everything that we've been saying about the gaming industry and proves that what we've been saying is not bullshit. What we've been saying, everybody has been thinking. And apparently there are people in this level of position that think the same thing in the gaming industry as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into this content, boys, and let's see what Laura actually has to say about all of this nonsense going on in the gaming industry. Let's hit play and let's see what we got.
It's no secret the games industry is struggling. Millions of dollars have been lost and thousands of layoffs have occurred. Even games with mild success will not make their money back. One would think that these failures would create a moment of crisis, a moment of self-reflection in the industry. That studios would realize that instead of lecturing gamers about what they should want, they would listen and understand their fans.
Wow, starting off strong. Instead of lecturing gamers, perhaps you should listen to your fan base and understand what it is that they really want. Gee, who's been saying that for the past fucking year? Or honestly, more than a year, to be quite frank with you. But let's just count the last year. Like, come on, what the hell? It's like, wow, very interesting. Oh, the volume's low. Hold on, I didn't realize it was only halfway. Here we go.
You know, the people who want to be entertained, who want to pay to play their game.
Now you wait a cotton picking minute. You wait a cotton picking minute. You hold on 1 second, sir. Ma'am. You hold on, ma'am. Give me 1 second. You guys know I like to do my investigative stuff. Hold on. You wait a second. You wait a fucking second. I know you guys are saying let her cook. Hold on. Hold on. I know you're saying let her cook. I'm getting nervous. Are they in the same studio? Are they in the same studio? That is sus, bro. That is sus. Oh, shit. Let me find out. Let me find out, Smash. Let me find out, Smash. What you doing? What you doing, Smash? When you say you're going to go to work, is this what you mean? You mean you're going to just go hide off into Laura's studio and pretend like it's your sex shack? Just let it be known, Smash. I see you. I see you, Smash. Just let it be known. That's some sus shit, bro. That is sus as fuck. All right. Let her cook. Wait, let her cook. Let's go back. Let's go back. Hold on.
Who want to pay to play their games. So how did we get here? Why is it so difficult for the feedback to get through? Why aren't studios listening? Well, the problem is that over the years...
I love that she's using Dragon Age of Veilguard gameplay, by the way. Bro, the subtle, like, the subtle destruction that's happening here is fantastic. She's talking about the games industry bubble and what's wrong with the games industry, and she's using Veilguard gameplay clips. That's great.
They've created a bubble. And unless they turn things around and step into the light, things are only going to get worse. Let's talk about how this happened. When I first started in games, you made a game, got ready to ship, and then you talked about it at E3.
If the volume's still low, there's nothing I could do with it because it's the video. Like, it's on maximum volume, so just gotta hope for the best.
E3. You let people play, and sometimes you even had gamers at E3. It felt like a fun geek fest with friends. As games became more mainstream and made more money, things started to change. The press became more powerful, and reporters that wanted to increase their audience might do so by creating breaking news about your game. Sometimes that was really good, and the game developer would score a magazine cover, they'd get more sales and a lot more attention. Sometimes it wasn't so good because a lot of game developers weren't great at selling their games. They were just great at
Wait. Smash JT in the chat? Is Smash JT in the chat? I see him in the chat. I saw him, I should say. Smash. 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 Tell us the truth, Smash. Tell us the truth, Smash. That is an awfully similar looking studio, bro. That's very similar. It's very similar, all right? I can't defend you on this one. I can't defend you. Smash. Getting scared, man. Getting scared.
making them. They might say something wrong about the game, or maybe a reporter would misunderstand. This could end up costing the game developer shelf space, sales, and sometimes their job.
Noise in their makeshift trailer park across the street from E3.
I think it's more honest.
Oh my God, look at these old videos. Wow, man. Jeez, I remember watching videos like this so long ago. At least it wasn't even that long ago when you really think about it, but still, that's insane.
We have to put on a big show. Our big show is our technology.
Naturally, what happened was the game developers and publishers started to evolve out of self-interest. They needed to protect their investment, so they would set their message and their narrative very specifically before they went to E3. The last thing they wanted was for a reporter to misunderstand and print something that would hurt the game. Now, instead of game developers working 8-hour shifts on the show floor discussing their games, companies moved to designated spokespeople and had secondary people manning the booth. Many companies staff their floor with beautiful...
See that problem? That word she said, investing, like people started investing or certain corporations started investing. That's really where the problem started to come into play, where what was once niche became mainstream. I mean, this happens all the time. When something goes from niche to mainstream and you get outside investors that don't really care about what it is that's involved and cares just more about a return, that's where things started to go downhill and people became corporatized and studios became corporatized. I mean, look at the people who used to make video games back in the day. I mean, they were genuine gamers. Now you look at a lot of people who are in charge of video games now, ain't none of them even touch fucking video games. If you look at a lot of the executives that are out there right now for a lot of these studios, they don't even touch video games. It wasn't like that back in the day. Even the highest of highs, even the CEO of Blizzard would play video games like crazy. It's not like that anymore. It's damn sure not like that at Activision. And it's damn sure not like that in most of these places, unless you're talking about indie developers, and that's different. But again, it kind of all comes full circle at that point.
Full contractors that couldn't answer any in-depth questions.
Aloha! Welcome to the Maxim Video Game.
It's on YouTube. So we
wait. Go back. Enhance.
Off their floor with beautiful contractors that couldn't answer any in-depth questions.
Aloha!
Enhance. Nice. Very nice. Aloha indeed. It's a beautiful thing.
Welcome to the Maxim Video Game Quiz.
This worked really well. It's on YouTube. So we started to in.
I keep pressing the wrong button. I'm such an idiot. There we go.
Aloha! Welcome to the Maxim Video Game Quiz.
This worked really well. Instead of having kind of a grumpy developer that had crunched in order to get their E3 demo done, you had beautiful, bubbly people, and they would set a great first impression of your game.
Oh my God, I know this one too.
The green guy.
Giovanni? No.
The turtle?
Fabio? No. Leonardo?
An added benefit was that no reporter in their
My
right
God,
mind
bro. Look at the women. Look at the fucking women back then. Look at the women. What the fuck did we do, bro? I mean, look at the women in the gaming industry back then. Holy shit. And don't get me wrong, I know this is Maxim, but Maxim was interviewing other women that weren't part of Maxim, and look at them. Man, they are all fucking normal. normal. I'm not even talking about like high. Like it's just they're just normal. When women were actually women and they didn't have dicks. That's the fucking problem. That's the problem. There's too many chicks with dicks. That's the issue. Too many chicks with dicks now. Back then, you got blonde bombshells, you got real women, homegrown vaginas. Now over here, you got chicks with fucking dicks. Why they got so much goddamn dick? You don't need to have all that. The fuck is going on here? It's too many chicks with dicks.
Quote one of these people as some kind of expert on the game, so it took away that risk. If a journalist wanted an in-depth interview or wanted specific questions about the game answered, then they were directed to a PR spokesperson. And these people were trained. They were intimately familiar with the game, and generally they didn't say.
I really hate watching videos that showcase clips from like 15 years ago. I really do, because man, it brings me back to a time where it was like so fucking normal. It was so normal. And 15 years ago, we were thinking, wow, I can only imagine what gaming is going to be like in 15 years. It's going to be so awesome. The advancement technology is going to be great. And all we got was fucking trans, angry developers. That's all we got was angry trans developers the entire time. That's it.
Or wanted specific questions about the game answered, then they were directed to a PR spokesperson. And these people were trained. They were intimately familiar with the game. And generally, they didn't say anything stupid.
And fortunately, we have a product for people who aren't able to get some form of connectivity. It's called Xbox 360.
Right. So stick with 360. That's your message. If you don't,
Well,
you don't like
Look at this motherfucker, Jeff Keighley. Even back then, look at Keighley before he started trademarking the Game Awards. Look at this guy.
If you have zero access to the internet, that is an offline device.
This also really worked to increase the star power
Well, Todd Howard was still short even back then. So there's that.
of game creators. People like stories about another person, right? It's hard to tell a story about the 150 people working on the game. It's just too much for people to keep track of. They want to hear about the star. Who is the co-creator of Halo? Who is Jason Jones? That is what they wanted to hear. These spokespeople became famous, and often the press became their friends. It's natural for friendships to develop over time, and it helps in interviews if people know each other.
It's great to see you again.
It's good to see you as well.
Good to
People
see
are
this
waiting
still
for us to
going.
get back together, and now is
And
the appropriate
I
venue.
do always enjoy it where you make up features and ask.
YouTube Live E3, self/less. Look at this. They were practicing pronouns even back then. Even back then, self/less. They were getting ready for titles. Look at that. Amazing. Now instead of self/less, it's it/they. Fucking weirdos.
Me if they're actually real.
Exactly. And then you go back and build them, right? No.
Sometimes yes. Sometimes yes. We get the pressure to do that.
Yes.
This created a star power on the interface too. Suddenly, you weren't just a journalist. You weren't just a buyer for GameStop. You were friends with some of the most famous and powerful people in the games industry. If you played your cards right, maybe you'd get exclusive interviews or get to break stories after drinks one night. And the escalation came.
That's where it starts. That's where the problem starts, where you start getting a little too Hollywood. You start getting a little bit too access media-ish. And then that's what happened with the gaming journalists, because they went from being actual journalists to being journalists. And now they'll do anything for that sweet, sweet access, baby. I'll say whatever you want me to say. Just promise to give me a free code and a blanket. I just want a blanket. Give me a blanket. Or give me a free Lego set. That's it. That's where it begins.
Continued. It became normal to wine and dine the press and retail buyers. Since games were on physical media, you had to have shelf space, and even better, cross-promotion with major stores. It was big business. Companies had to manage hundreds of these people at E3. So Xbox had a handler for every major press person and retail buyer. The handler would make sure that the experience...
Look at those fucking conferences, man. So sad. It really is so damn sad. As we've gotten more connected through social media, we have gotten further and further apart as people. It sucks. I mean, look at these conferences. Awesome.
For these people was top notch. For press, it was a PR person. In the Xbox case, they had internal PR and an army of contract PR people from a company called Edelman. They were beautiful, smart, and funny people. For the retail buyers, it was easy because Microsoft already had someone internally that managed every account, and so those people would be the guides for the retail buyers.
We got 400 retail pros ready to hang out in the Xbox booth and learn why Xbox One is the best place to play games this year. Where's the best place to play games?
If you were a VIP, you would check in for an appointment at the desk and have a first-class tour, access to a VIP section where you could eat, drink, and mingle with Xbox and game royalty.
Well, this is what it's about right here. This is what it's about right here. This is Access Media to the max, right? Where they cared more about what benefits were given to them based on how good they represented whatever. You know, if you were Xbox shill, if you were a PlayStation Sony boy, or whatever the case would be, like this was it. These are the people that try to convince you that the fucking Connect was a good thing. Like, you know what I mean? These are the kind of people that would convince you that all of these terrible fucking ideas that these developers have had were amazing and brave, and you should totally go support them. All so that they could just go back here in their little backstage studio and fucking play around and drink for free with their tags around their neck, feeling like they're very important people. That's really what it is. Feeling like they're super important, getting free swag bags. And then on top of that, too, getting some free review codes or whatever the case would be. You know, it's ridiculous, man.
On the tour, you might see a presentation by one of the creators, followed by a hands-on demo, staffed appropriately so that your experience was perfect. This sometimes meant that they would even win when they weren't very good at the game.
I like that you actually went through 3 hurdles and you still finished first.
Well,
So
that's because I run so fast. No matter how many obstacles I hit, I can just make up for it. That's fun.
Fucking Zachary Levy's here, bro. Oh my god. Oh my god. Look, you got diversity. You got an Asian in here somewhere.
It's pretty phenomenal.
If the game was big enough like Gears, there might be an exclusive party.
Hey, shout out to the one who really got famous sucking a dick first. Shout out to, I mean, obviously you got Pamela Anderson, but you know what I'm saying. Paris Hilton, shout out to you before Kim Kardashian blew you out the water. Shout out to Paris Hilton.
Big enough like Gears, there might be an exclusive party or event. It was also staffed with beautiful people, models, and sometimes even celebrities like Paris Hilton. I remember Paris showing up at the event. She walked over to the bar and...
Now, okay, so let me ask you a question. So right when Paris... I need to zoom in. Right when Paris Hilton shows up. All right, I need you to be a little bit serious here. Look into my big blue eyes, okay? I want to make them blue for this one. When Paris fucking Hilton shows up to E3, at that point, when does someone say, you know what? This has gotten really fucking Hollywood now. Like, this is clearly not about video games anymore. You know what I mean? Like, this is very, very Hollywood. You think fucking Paris Hilton gives a fuck about video games? No, clearly not. So once people like Paris Hilton start showing up, at this point, I think it's pretty safe to say that this is very Hollywood. And it only got worse from there. It'll only continue to get worse from there. You know what I mean? Like, at what point do we say that?
And slammed a few shots. Next thing I knew, Cliffy's girlfriend was posing for a selfie, and there I was looking like, I don't know, where's Waldo in this picture? It was funny because when Cliffy's girlfriend posted this picture, she made sure to scrub me out of there. I wonder why. Then there were the press briefings before E3 even started. We'd spend weeks leading up to E3.
Did he reveal this game with a fucking tattoo? That's the gayest shit I've ever seen in my life. Did that really? I don't even remember how they revealed Grand Theft Auto 4. Is that really how they did it? He revealed it with a fucking tattoo? Wow, people in the chat are saying yes. Wow. That's... You're saying it's not real? A lot of people saying yes. I know the tattoo's not real. I'm asking about the fucking reveal. That's a water salt. Guys. I'm not talking, guys, nice. I'm not talking about if the fucking tattoo is real. I'm talking about, is the reveal real? Because I don't remember. I'm old. All right. I don't remember. But you guys are saying, yeah. So if that's the truth, then that's fucking gay. That's gay. Unbelievably gay.
figuring out which games to include and how to create blockbuster sound bites that would further drive our message.
I know you plan these things months and months in advance. For anybody that doesn't know, that like the planning for this starts like the beginning of the year kind of thing.
That's right.
It's crazy. So
we didn't want a
What
random
the fuck kind of
reporter
headset was?
setting-
Wait, go back.
of the year kind of thing.
That's right.
It's crazy.
What is this? A Bluetooth headset and a fucking microphone at the same? What kind of weird device is this on his brain?
Crazy. So
we didn't want a random reporter setting the tone for the entire week, so we got ahead of it.
Tiger King says, "Is this an old video?" No, it's not. It's only a couple weeks old, but she's treating it like a documentary. So she's trying to explain how the industry was, and then she's going to talk about what the industry is like now. And this is coming from somebody who has worked on games like Gears of War, for example, at a pretty high position. So I find it very interesting because this is somebody who, and she's a woman too, on top of that. So the fact that she's about to say what most of us have been saying for I don't even know how long now, I find it to be very interesting. But let's continue.
We set the tone at that briefing and then gave more details later in the week.
Oh,
and it
shit.
worked. Sometimes reporters would just report your message exactly, like this article, which mirrored our internal XNA messaging. We knew that it was insanely ambitious to assume creating a game engine like XNA was going to somehow change the entire dynamics of the console business. But reporters liked it and they ran with it.
Oh no. Oh my God. Bro, she is cooking Dragon Age right now. She clearly has something against Dragon Age. She is cooking Dragon Age. She's not even talking about Dragon Age right now, and she's using this as a reference to say, just because journalists say it's good doesn't mean it's good. And she screenshotted Dragon Age to showcase that. That's great.
And this still happens. As you saw with Dragon Age, a return to form is exactly what the designer wanted the press to say.
Yes.
Managing the
exactly.
message was
I'm glad somebody points out that the return to form bullshit was all pre-planned. I'm glad somebody finally points that out because it was so obvious that it was pre-planned. So obvious, man. Holy shit.
critical to a studio's success and was done for survival purposes. But it sadly started to hurt gamers. You now had an industry that was in a bubble. As the friendships and relationships grew, only journalists in the bubble were given exclusives.
Yep.
And sometimes their review didn't match what was going on. Again, you saw this recently with Veilguard.
Sometimes.
IGN is walking back their...
Sometimes. It's more like a lot of the time. A lot of the time, their reviews don't match what's going on. They know that. That's the whole reason why they're so damn disingenuous to begin with. Again, it's all to get that free swag, baby. That's it. Access media is a thing. Although it's dying off now, we know that, but still.
Review. Did IGN actually believe Veilguard was a 9 out of 10? Or
Nope.
did they intentionally ignore the flaws?
They didn't believe shit. All it was is that, hey, look, they have a trans reviewer reviewing a game that is talking nonstop about its trans ideology. Gee, I wonder what score that person's going to give this game. You think they're going to be unbiased towards a game that's all about identity politics? While they themselves being all about identity politics? I mean, obviously not. I highly doubt they even completed the game before they finished their review. I'm pretty sure they only played for about 6 to 10 hours and decided to continue from there. I know they said they played for like 40 hours, 50 hours, whatever. But it's funny how they never talk about things that are well past the beginning stages of the game. It's very interesting. So, regardless.
Did they play the game? Did they like the game, but then after they got into it more, they decided they didn't like it anymore? It's just confusing as to why it appears they're walking back that review.
Well, it's not really that confusing when you understand and look at the fact that it's two different people, right? So the trans person who wrote that review for Dragon Age of Veilguard, who gave it a 9 out of 10, they're not the ones who walked it back, right? The ones who walked it back was somebody else at IGN who was shitting on the game, but the trans person didn't do that. The trans person kept their 9 out of 10 review and didn't walk it back. So it looks like IGN's walking it back, but really what it is two different people talking about the same game 2 different ways. Except the problem is the bad one came after the 9 out of 10, so it made everybody go like, wow, they're walking this shit back. You know, that's really what it is.
Is it because suddenly they're seeing that gamers don't like it and the sales are going to be low? I don't know the answers, but it's not a new story. Then there were the awards at the shows. For game developers, it was a way to keep score, to get more marketing and support for your game. It was a way to gain more shelf space at retail. Look, an expert loves...
To be honest with you, looking at the Game Awards, fuck Mark Hamill, by the way, piece of shit. Looking at the Game Awards, you can kind of get the idea that you can see the transition into Hollywood as time goes on. It's actually the perfect encapsulation of what's happening with the gaming industry over the last 5 to 10 years. You know, because if you look at the way the Game Awards started versus where it's at now, it's very Hollywood. And it's the same thing with the gaming industry also. The gaming industry is very Hollywood right now. That's the whole reason about access media and all that stuff. And you can kind of see that transition happen little by little with the Game Awards. You know, I feel like it's a good visual representation of all of that we've been talking about.
It's my game. See, IGN says I'm a 9 out of 10. Please give me more shelf space. This created even more power for the journalists because they had a chance to create their own brand and suck up to the bigger business of Hollywood.
Look at this
Then
motherfucker.
YouTube took off and threatened to bring the whole thing down because suddenly you didn't have to listen to a print magazine.
Yes.
You could just go watch the game being played online and hear
Yep.
what that person had to say about it.
Yep.
It took a while, but the industry started to notice. I remember being at WB Games and arguing with our PR team about this.
YouTube absolutely destroyed games access media. Just flat out. YouTube, as that platform grew and YouTubers grew to the point where we have almost 900 people watching my brand new avatar. Almost 900 people just watching on YouTube alone. Right? This is what they used to die for. You know what I mean? Like they wanted this so bad, and they had this. They had people buying up their magazines, reading their articles and everything like that. They had it. And then they gave it all away. They gave it all away because they got too comfortable. They didn't want to evolve. They didn't want to do anything other than just keep shilling. That's literally it. So YouTube fucked them. It fucked them completely because they forced these lazy people to try to evolve. But the truth of the matter is they couldn't because they don't have the skill or the creativity to do it. And they just died off. Well, at least they're dying off. They're basically at that point now. So it is what it is.
They loved the current setup. They had been cultivating these relationships for years. They knew and loved the model. They didn't want to embrace the new reality. On Gotham City Imposters, we wanted a presence on YouTube, so we made the videos ourselves. All of these videos were done by the actual game developers. They didn't have a budget or help, just their own creativity.
I like
and
his
time.
shotgun.
Once the big companies caught on that YouTube and streaming was here to stay, they started the process again. The playbook was the same. Cultivate a relationship with the most popular streamers and YouTube personalities that love your game and pull them into the bubble. But then something changed.
The bubble bursted,
when you're
bitches.
in a bubble or an echo chamber where no real feedback gets through, it's easy to make bad choices. It's
Oof.
easy to believe the friendly journalists
Oof.
when they tell you what a genius you are and how great your game is.
I honestly forgot just how bad Counter-Strike 2 got roasted when it first came out. I mean, it's nowhere near as bad as some of the things we've seen, but still, it was pretty bad. I'm not surprised.
The score, yeah, we do mock reviews for every game that we launch, and this is like double digits lower than we thought we would be.
You stop seeing what the gamers are actually playing. You stop understanding what they want. You stop listening because all you hear is how awesome you are.
Oh, shit. Man. Talk about facts. You know what it is, man? They sniff their own farts. That's what it is. It's a circle jerk, and nobody else is invited except the people who are making the game and the people who are reviewing the game officially anyway. That's it. It's a massive circle jerk. And the developers, all they want is those high review scores. And the fucking journalists, all they want is a free game. And access, of course. They want to be able to have an interview with some of the developers and be able to say exclusive. You know what I mean? They want that. But you know what? You know what's so hilarious? I'm gonna tell you guys something really quick before we continue. What's so hilarious is that if you notice, right, the journalists who shill for the, who do what they need to do to get access media, right? Those journalists, the ones who want those exclusive interviews, you know what's hilarious about all of this? It's the simple fact that they may get those exclusive interviews, but guess who gets more views talking about that particular interview? Guess who gets more views? So they have that, that access. They have that exclusive interview, but all it takes is for me to make a video on it and boom. All it takes is for another YouTuber to make a video on it and boom. They get way more views than they ever do on the article. It's so fucking sad. And I don't even have to show for the access. All I gotta do is wait for them to write it. And then I make the video. It's sad. But that's what it is, because nobody gives a fuck about what they have to say. And nobody cares about whatever access they have. And the sad thing is, it's gonna get to a point where even if they say, well, you know what? Fine, I just won't do interviews anymore. Well, then the developers are gonna be like, shit, I guess we should go to these YouTubers. So it's a lose-lose situation. They either do it and we make a video and get way more views and they get clicks, or they don't do it and then the developers end up coming to us anyway because they got nobody else. It doesn't matter. It's so ridiculous.
Let's look at Dragon Age. It took over 6 years to make that game. And that is very
Correction, it
expensive.
took 10 years. I mean, well, technically you weren't wrong. You said over 6 years, but it took 10 years to make this piece of shit game.
Even before you start talking about the marketing. This means you're going to have to sell a lot of copies, and that means you're going to have to appeal to as many people as possible. Look, shipping a game is really hard, and I give these developers a lot of credit for getting it out the door. There's no question that some people like the game, and that's great, but it's looking like it won't be enough.
I don't give them any credit. Fuck them. Fuck them, because they don't care about us, so I don't care about them. I don't care. Guys, make sure to like the stream. We are over 900 people watching on Hypnocast. Absolutely insane. You guys are amazing. I appreciate it.
And I have concerns.
We're going to catch up on Super Chats real soon.
Also, as a gamer, I have no...
What did she say? She's going to be concerned there's more layoffs? Go back. I mean, that's obvious at this point, I would imagine.
No question that some people like the game, and that's great. But it's looking like it won't be enough, and I have concerns this will lead to more layoffs. Also, as a gamer, I have no problem with game developers taking risks with their content.
It definitely will lead to more layoffs. There's no doubt about it. They haven't learned their lesson. And I'm going to imagine that 2025 is going to bring about the death of many studios. Just like 2024 brought the death of many studios, 25 will be no different. There's going to be studios that are going to be closing down without a doubt in 25.
Who doesn't love innovation? But that doesn't mean I'll buy your game. There are many games I like and many that I don't. This is true of movies too. And that's the beauty and the challenge of working in the games industry. Sometimes you will make something that you think is good and people don't love it. I was proud of every single game I shipped, but not all of them had commercial success, and it was frustrating. But I didn't blame the gamers for that.
Oh, shit.
Instead, I tried to look back. I tried to self-reflect.
Oh, shit.
What did we do well on this game? What could we have done better? Why didn't this work out? And as the leader of a studio or a game, I always looked at myself first.
Oh, they're not going to like that one. They're not going to like that one. Oh, she said, I didn't blame the gamer, and I always looked at myself first as the leader of the studio and didn't blame the gamer. Wow. You mean to tell me she self-reflected? Interesting. Now, again, keep in mind, this is Fryer, right? Laura Fryer, she is somebody who worked on Gears of War, and she held a pretty high title in a lot of the studios she worked at. So we have a female, somebody who's diverse, right? Diverse. And then on top of that, too, she's saying everything that the chuds are saying. I wonder why. It's very interesting. A little bit of self-reflection and accountability can go a long way, and it's almost as if that she realizes it, and yet all of these other people don't. Because we all know Corin Bush is not talking like this. Look at the difference. Look at the fucking difference. Corin Bush just recently had an interview with Inverse. Look at how that went. Instead of self-reflecting and understanding perhaps that they fucked up a little, he decides to want to blame everybody else. It's the chud's fault. It's all the chud's fault. But then you got this woman over here who's like, nope, if I ever had a game that failed, I would immediately look to myself and wonder what I did wrong. Gee, why is that so hard? Makes you wonder why. You know what I mean? So I just find it to be such a glaring difference. And this is only a couple of weeks apart.
War in the North was also a commercial failure, a fact that many critics attributed to the timing of its release, being released only 10 days before the juggernaut of fantasy gaming, Skyrim.
Gaming is entertainment. People aren't forced to buy your message or your game.
Oh,
Holding
no.
back user
No, don't tell them that. Don't tell them that. Oh my gosh, she is saying all the things that are going to piss these people off. Gamers don't have to buy your product, not according to these people. Damn.
reviews for a few days only buys you a few days. Eventually, the truth comes out.
Yep.
Eventually, people notice that you aren't delivering fun games and they stop giving you money.
That is what happened with Veilguard. That is what happened with Dragon Age the Veilguard. All of these fake ass reviews, all these fake ass shills out there trying to say this game's a 10 out of 10. Go buy it right now. Well, guess what? All the normies after buying it realized that that wasn't true. And then once they picked it up and they played it for a couple of hours, they're like, what the fuck what did I just pick up? What am I playing? And they just refunded it. They returned it. The truth always does come out when it comes to a video game. Absolutely. And this is no different.
Everybody knows it's over. Everybody except you.
When people ask me why AAA games are in trouble, this is it. Because they're not reflecting on what they could do better. Instead, they're attacking the people that they want to sell their games to. It is not a winning strategy. It reminds me of Plato's.
Oh my God. And you know what's even crazier? Keep in mind, guys, she uploaded this. She uploaded this to her own YouTube channel. Keep that in mind, right? This is somebody who back in the day probably would have reached out to a journalist to say these things in an interview. Now she skipped the fucking journalist and she uploaded it to her own YouTube channel, proving that you don't need the journalist. You don't need the game's journalists anymore. That's how irrelevant they are. The developers are like, nope, I'll just skip you and put it on my own fucking YouTube channel. Incredible. It just, like, there is so many owns in here. It's insane.
Allegory of the cave. It's where people only see what is on the wall in front of them. They don't see that there is a fire behind them and puppets that are creating the images that they see on the wall. What they're seeing isn't real. And if only they would turn around and walk into the light, they would know the truth. They would be able to change. It's hard, but fortunately, they made the cave. They made the fake reality. They can turn around at any time. And I, for one, hope they do, because I really want more great games.
The thing is, we all want great games. That's the whole point. We all want great games, but she's right. The developers absolutely refuse to see the truth for what it is. They're so busy sniffing their own fucking farts that they just rather ignore all the criticism and call you bigots, shuds, whatever the case may be. They'd rather call you every name under the sun than acknowledge what's actually truly happening. They're going to pretend like none of you guys play games. This is what the shills say. The shills say, oh, these guys don't really play games. They just want to hate on everything. Really? You're going to tell my 20-year-old Steam account with fucking hundreds of games, not even including the consoles that I've played in my entire... Are you serious right now? That's the cope that you have? That's the cope that you have? It's a fucking joke. Anyway, I'm linking her video in the chat right now. If you guys enjoy that content, you're more than welcome to continue checking it out. Subscribe to her channel if you so choose. I might have to do the same thing because I'm curious what else she might put out. Because, man, this girl just cooked the fuck out of the industry. She cooked them. She absolutely cooked them in all the best ways. So I might have to follow. I definitely might have to follow and see what that's about. What's her OnlyFans? That's disgusting, Shrek. That is disgusting, Shrek. But in case you're curious, her OnlyFans is located on smashjt.com. They have the same sex shack, which means they produce the same content. 100%. 100%. You know it's true. smashjt.com. Go check it out.